fashion industry has trained women to mistake closet chaos for personal failure. Today, I want to talk about why that confusion was built in and why building a style uniform is what turns a wardrobe from noise into structure. Chapter 1. Your closet chaos was never personal. Let's start with the part I think women over 40 need to hear clearly and without apology. If your wardrobe feels crowded but strangely unhelpful, and if you keep buying things that seemed right in theory but then never work for you, that is not because you are bad at style. It is because most women were never taught to build a wardrobe with internal logic. We were taught to buy by mood, by trend, by aspiration, by sale, by body insecurity, even by age anxiety, and by the fantasy of another life. And then, when all of those disconnected decisions pile up in one closet, we blame ourselves for the confusion. But the confusion was built in. It is a system failure, not our failure. And the industry benefits when you feel behind. But after 40, style should be about reducing noise, not adding to it. Your wardrobe should not feel like a test you keep failing. It should feel like evidence that you know yourself better now, and that is why you need a style uniform. Hi, I'm Bridget Fisher, and we're here to prove something radical. After 40, age is your style advantage, not an obstacle, and I cut through the noise with German honesty. Welcome to the Aura Club. Chapter 2. Build the uniform before you build the wardrobe. So let's make this useful straight away. A style uniform is not one outfit repeated forever, and it is not a rigid little fashion prison either. It is 2 or 3 repeatable formulas that make getting dressed easier because the logic is already there. And that is why Carolyn Bessette Kennedy is such a useful example. Not because every woman should copy her literally, but because her wardrobe had internal logic. And just because Carolyn is the example here does not mean your formula has to be minimalist. Whether your style is bold, colorful, eclectic, or dramatic, this works just as powerfully. One of Carolyn's formulas was bootcut jeans, a fitted top, a knee-length coat, and boots. Another was a pencil skirt, a fitted top, and boots or leather flats. And then in a more casual mood, she would wear jeans, a white t-shirt, or an oversized white button-down and flip-flops. The point is that the pieces shifted slightly, but the logic stayed the same. The power was in the consistency of the line. She kept returning to the same calm silhouettes, the same restraint, the same refusal of noise, and that is exactly what made the image so strong. A uniform gives a woman recognizability, ease, and authority at the same time. So if you want to build one for yourself, do not start by shopping. Start by looking at the outfits you already wear when you feel like yourself. So tell me in the comments, what are the pieces in your wardrobe that already quietly work? Maybe your best looks always have a straighter trouser, a longer outer layer, and a quieter shoe. And that pattern then is your starting point. You expand it into 2 or 3 formulas, simple enough to repeat. And once you have your formulas, shopping gets much easier because you're no longer buying random pieces, you're reinforcing a system. You're replacing the trouser shape that already works instead of getting distracted by the noise of new trend silhouettes. And that is the real value of style uniforms. And after 40, that is where style gets very, very good. Quick one, I've created an ebook collection for women over 40 who want more clarity and autonomy in their personal style. The guides include worksheets and practical tools so you can work through these ideas and discover what really works for you. And if you purchase any two, the wishlist planner will be added for free, no code needed, everything is linked below, and it's a wonderful way to support my work. Chapter 3. Build the wardrobe around the formula. Once you know your formulas, the next step is not more inspiration, it is infrastructure. And this is where a lot of women get stuck because they understand the idea of a uniform, but their wardrobe is still full of pieces that do not support it. So now you build around the formula, not around random pieces. If one of your formulas is jeans, white shirts, simple flat shoe, then that wardrobe needs excellent jeans, shirts with the right shape, and flats or sandals that you can actually live in. This is where her wardrobe starts becoming useful because now every piece has a job. You need anchors, which are the pieces that create the line again and again. And you need supporting pieces, which give variation without breaking the logic. And then you may need one or two accents that add personality without creating noise. And this is where I always go for the vintage fix. The vintage fix is that one piece with soul that stops an outfit from feeling too polished, too new, or too anonymous. It might be a worn leather bag or an interesting piece of jewelry or anything with a little life in it. Just one thing that brings personality back into the look. So you're asking, does this strengthen my formula and therefore my system? If it does, it belongs. If it does not, it's probably clutter, even if it is lovely on its own. And this is also where shopping becomes much more intelligent. You stop buying isolated things and start filling actual gaps. Chapter 4. The formula must fit your life, your body, and your territory. So this is where the whole thing either becomes liberating or turns into costume. A real style uniform has to fit your life first, not your occasional life and definitely not your fantasy life. It should all be about how you move and what your days require, how much walking you do, what level of polish you need, and what weather you live in. A uniform built for the wrong life will always feel false, and then it has to fit your body with respect. Not the body you're bargaining for and not the body you had at 25, the body you have now. Because this is where so many women get pulled into bad programming. They start dressing for thinness instead of dressing for line, presence, and self-possession. They start asking, does this make me look smaller? When the better question is, does this make me look stronger, clearer, and more like myself? And that shift matters. A powerful formula is not about reducing the body, it is about giving the outfit shape, movement, and authority. And then, just as importantly, the formula has to fit your style territory. And this is why the Audit Club starts with 2 questions. Not 20 categories, just 2 questions. So here they are. Do you shop for casual or impact? And are you drawn to classics or trends? And that is where your territory begins to reveal itself. Effortlessly timeless, relaxed modern, executive edge, avant-garde. A timeless uniform is about silence, an avant-garde uniform is about the statement. It's the same system, but a different soul. Small note, I'm often asked about the specific pieces I like, so I've linked some of my favorites below. This is not a shopping channel and I'm not here to push products, but I'm always happy to share good pieces when they are worth sharing. Chapter 5. Edit with honesty, not guilt. Let's talk about editing, because this is where a lot of women lose their nerve. Not because they cannot tell what works, but because guilt gets there first. Guilt about the money that's been spent and guilt because the piece almost works or feels too wasteful to let go. And that is exactly how a wardrobe gets clogged with hesitation. The fashion industry is very comfortable with women living in that hesitation. A woman with a rail full of almost right pieces is much easier to manipulate than a woman with real style autonomy. She keeps doubting her eye and she keeps shopping for the fix. She keeps thinking the next purchase will solve what bad editing never did. So here is the cleaner way to do it. Every piece needs one of three decisions: repeat, rest, or release. If a piece is strong enough to wear on repeat, it stays. And I do mean repeat. Ask yourself very plainly, would I be happy to wear this 10 days straight? Not because you have to, but because that question removes fantasy very quickly. A real power piece should feel right enough, comfortable enough, and aligned enough with your style territory that repeating it would feel easy. If the answer is yes, keep it close. That piece is helping build your power wardrobe. And if the answer is no, but there's still something promising there, then it does not belong in your active wardrobe right now. Store it away and let it go quiet. Sometimes distance reveals whether a piece has real value or whether you were just trying to justify it. Either way, clarity is useful. And then there is the third category, release. And this is the one women avoid because it feels harsh. But some pieces are simply not good enough for the woman you are now. They are not adding strength, they are actually adding noise. The money is already gone. Keeping the wrong piece does not recover it. It just keeps the mistake on active duty in your wardrobe. And a strong wardrobe is not built from guilt, sentiment, or indecision. It is built from pieces that earn their place. You trust them and reach for them without hesitation. You trust them and reach for them without hesitation. Those are the pieces that support your formula again and again. Just to let you know, if you haven't taken the 2-question style test yet, it's free, it takes 2 minutes, and it's linked in the description. Chapter 6. Now the dopamine pieces get their moment. Once the wardrobe is clear and the formulas are working, now the dopamine pieces actually get their moment. Not the random impulse buys that derail the wardrobe, but your expressive dopamine-inducing signature pieces. The ones that give the formula personality and make the whole look feel like you. Because your anchors and supporting pieces are there to hold the line, but these are the pieces that give it pulse. Even in Carolyn's case, amongst the quieter pieces people always focus on, there was also the leopard print coat, the snakeskin heels, and other elements that added tension and personality. And that is the point. A strong style uniform is never about stripping all character away. It is about having enough structure that the expressive pieces land with even more power. And if basics have never quite worked for you, watch this video next, because you are not bad at style. You were sold the wrong basics. And always remember, confidence looks good on you.